between the three. The Libertarian candidate for president is going to distinguish him or herself from the other two candidates. Right now, that candidate happens to be me, okay? And I recognize that each and every one of you would be doing what I'm doing right now if given the opportunity, but I've been given this opportunity and I'm trying to make the most out of it. So in the general election, I'm going to talk about three candidates because only three candidates are going to be on the ballot in all 50 states. But I'm going to be the only candidate that wants to stop foreign aid where we have poor people in this country giving foreign aid to rich people in other countries. I'm going to be the only candidate that does not want to bomb Iran. I'm going to be the only candidate that wants to get out of Afghanistan now. Bring the troops home. Stop our military interventions. I am outraged by politicians that beat their chests against the terrorist threat, and that comes at a cost of tens of thousands of innocent people being killed in foreign countries, and it results in our men and servicewomen coming back in body bags or with their limbs blown off. This has to stop, and it has to stop now. I am going to be the only candidate that wants to repeal the Patriot Act, and I would have never voted for it in the first place. I would never have signed the National Defense Authorization Act allowing for you and I, as U.S. citizens, to be arrested, detained, without being charged. This is why we fought wars. I'm going to be the only candidate that wants to end the drug wars. Legalize marijuana now. I'm going to be the only candidate talking about marriage equality from the standpoint of it being a constitutionally guaranteed right on par with civil rights of the 60s. I am the only candidate that's going to be talking about balancing the federal budget now. Now! If we don't balance the federal budget now, we're going to find ourselves in a monetary collapse. And a monetary collapse, very simply, is when the dollars that we have in our pocket don't buy a thing because of the accompanying inflation that is going to go along with that. And that means addressing the entitlements. Right now, you've got Republicans and Democrats saying they're going to spend more on Medicare than the other party. We have to reform Medicare. We have to spend less money on Medicare. We have to spend less money on the military. I'm going to be proposing 43% reductions in those categories because if we don't do it, we're going to find ourselves without a country. Crony capitalism is alive and well in this country. Both parties have their hands out to some loophole, and guess what? Individuals, groups, corporations are buying those loopholes. I'm going to be the only candidate that wants to abolish the IRS, eliminate the income tax, eliminate corporate tax, replace it with one federal consumption tax. I am embracing the fair tax. I really think it's the template to zero taxes. I am the only candidate that would sign legislation to abolish the Federal Reserve. It's a rigged game. It's a rigged game. Federal Reserve gives money to the banks for 0%. The Fed loans money, gives money to the banks. The banks buy treasuries, profiting off you and I with no risk whatsoever. This is not what this country is about. I'm the only candidate that would repeal legal tender laws and sign legislation allowing for competing currency. Is this a message that belongs in the presidential debates? 15% voter support puts liberty front and center in the debates and in the headlines. I have 2 words for Ron Paul. Thank you. Thank you for taking the cause of liberty to the American people in a way that none of us have seen in our lifetimes. I'm going to ask you something here. Be libertarian with me for one election. One election. Together, we'll show the world and the nation that what Ron Paul has stood for is not a fluke, it's the future. Live free, live free. Okay,